Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
I'm really excited to be on this trip. One of the best things for me is being able to take information back to my clients and be able to answer their questions about agriculture better, especially when it relates to things like GMOs and antibiotics and hormones. That's why I really loved this trip. We started off at Merck, and the best thing for me at Merck was it was really interesting to be able to hear about how the antibiotics especially are actually made, how the animals testing is done, the way that the animals are treated and how they're used. It was really eye-opening to be able to actually learn about that experience and some of the testing that goes on with the antibiotics as well, as far as making sure that that doesn't end up in our finished food product and how to make sure that those are safe for the food supply. The science behind that was really great for me to be able to understand so that I could educate my clients. Monsanto was actually really great. They ended up spending about 2 hours with us, taking us around their headquarters and showing us just the ins and outs. Some of the major things that stuck out to me were this seed. I'm not sure if they call it a splicing machine, but basically it took a sample of the seed so that they could kind of figure out what genetics were great to reproduce then. So actually seeing that and knowing that, you know, Monsanto creates, invents machines that are, you know, going to allow for that process to happen. It's not so much about the scary dark side of, you know, they're inserting genes into something else, but they're actually innovating technology to make things happen.
If I were to pick one main thing that was a real aha moment at Monsanto, it would be when they showed the plant of the stalk of corn that was like a plant, it was like a bush, and compared that to today's corn stalk, which was tall and thin and is producing more kernels on the ear, and you know, you think about all the science that went into that, and it's really pretty mind-boggling.
We next went to Maschhoff's, which was a really unique approach to family farming and pork production. And so we got to see the feed mill. What I found most fascinating about their business and their production that they had is they actually partnered with other family farms, and they had a lot of control over the animal product that they were able to provide by the control of the feed that they gave the animal. 8 to 10 diets throughout an animal's lifespan is pretty complex. So that was probably one of the most fascinating things, because I think of all the different diets that we put humans on throughout their lifespan based off of different disease processes.
Central Missouri meat and sausage was really amazing. I had no idea that pasture-raised pork had the amount of worms and things like that internally that they can't have at processing, just because they are out in the fields and eating whatever they're exposed to, whether it be roots or worms or other bugs or dead carcasses of other animals. You know, they're exposed to so many other elements of feed that your typical, you know, antibiotic-free pigs are fed nice, you know, well-balanced diets that we know what they're being fed, and they're maybe treated with antibiotics, but they don't have antibiotics at processing, and when they go through processing, you know, they have a much lower risk of trichinosis and other foodborne illnesses that we're very concerned with, you know, as registered dietitians, because we don't want our patients to get sick from the food that they're eating.
So my biggest takeaway was the use of antibiotics and how important they are into the process of producing meat products. Is the ethical thing to do. Just like you wouldn't let your kids suffer through an infection or through a fever without antibiotics, or bringing them to the doctor to get them medicine when they're sick. We don't want to do that to our animals, that are especially those that we are sacrificing for food purposes.
Here's another gardening tip with Annette Jackson from Jackson's Greenhouse.
Fall is a great time to plant perennials, trees, shrubs, and bulbs. Root development occurs with the moist and cool soil conditions, which means better growth next year with less watering and maintenance. The use of mulch on all plantings helps protect from freezing, thawing, and drying out. Let Jackson's help with your next planting.
Jackson's top quality fall bulbs for spring blooming have arrived. Always plant the best bulbs for bigger, better blooms.
Jackson's Greenhouse has what you need today.